Hello friends, welcome back. Let's break down role API and user accessibility functions. Firstly, the author can function is basically used for checking if a particular user has access to something or not. Author can calls the hasCap method of the WP users class to do this. It's really that simple. Then we have the WP roles method, which returns an object of the WP roles class. Next, the get role method is used to get the object of the WP role class. It simply calls a method from the WP roles class and returns the WP role object. Next, the add role method is used to add a custom role. To do this, you just need to pass the role name, the display name, and their capabilities in an array format. For example, if you set edit post to true and delete post to false, it looks like edit post true and delete post false. If you don't specify delete posts, it means that the role doesn't have that capability. So whether you set delete posts to false or simply leave it out, it means that they won't have access to delete the post. There are also some other functions like get superadmins. If you want to see who the superadmins are, you can use this function. It also helps you check if the current user is a superadmin, which is useful when making decisions based on certain conditions. If you are adding a custom feature that should only be accessed by the superadmin, you can easily check if a user is a superadmin first using this method, is superadmin. If they are, you allow that functionality to run. If not, you can just return and stop. You can also grant superadmin access programmatically using the grant superadmin function. Normally, you can do this from the user edit screen in the multi-site network, but if you want to handle it through code, that's possible too using this. You just need to pass the user ID, and it will check if the user is already a superadmin in the multi-site setup. This only applies to the multi-site networks. Then you can run a few actions and it will add that user as a superadmin. Similarly, you can also remove superadmin access programmatically. There are other functions as well that you can explore later. Now, let's dive into the map metacap function, which is really crucial. Make sure you check out its documentation for a better understanding. The map meta function is used to map a meta capability to a basic or primitive capability. Here is a simpler way to understand it. It takes a capability and maps it to the basic capability a user needs in order to fulfill the capability that's being checked. The function takes the ID of an object and map against it, but only if the capability is a meta capability. Meta capabilities like edit post and edit users are used by this function to map the actual capabilities of a user or role needs such as edit other posts. In short, edit posts is a primary capability, and from there, other capabilities like edit other posts are derived, since different posts have different access rules. So, for instance, author can't edit other users' posts, right? A contributor can't publish other people's posts. However, an editor has full access. An editor can do both these tasks. If you look at this array, and if I search for something like edit post, you won't find edit post specifically. There is edit posts, but it's plural, not singular. Now, all these meta capabilities aren't assigned to any of the specific roles because these meta capabilities grant full access. It doesn't separate out things like whether they can publish or delete posts. For example, in the administrator role, you'll see capabilities like edit posts, edit other posts, edit published posts, and publish posts. There are also other capabilities too, like delete posts, delete pages, delete published posts, delete private posts, as well as edit other posts, read private posts. All these capabilities are derived from the edit post capability. Similarly, delete capabilities are derived from the delete post capabilities. The map meta function helps us check if a user has certain access or capability. Basically, map meta cap helps check primitive capabilities. I already mentioned an example, but let's look at a few more examples. If I explain the function definition, it will become clear. I'll also show you practically how we can modify WordPress files to make things easier to understand. For instance, edit posts can be used to check for a specific user. You can pass a user ID, post ID, or both. If you want to check if the author has an access to a particular post, you need the post ID. This is why we include the post ID when checking if the author has access to it. You can also check edit post meta using a specific meta key to see if they have access to that particular key. If you go to this function, you'll see that you have arguments as cap, user ID, and other args. Now, just to clarify, there are multiple capabilities. For example, remove user will map to remove users in its plural sense. Same goes for edit user and edit users. They'll map to that capability. Now let's take delete post and delete pages. If these are the capabilities, it will first fetch the post, then grab its getPostType object and check if the post type has metacap or not. In the next video, I'll show you how the map metacap works. For now, let's see if it checks a capability like edit posts. I'll quickly demonstrate this using our movie library plugin. I have created a file roles and capabilities.php and I have hooked a custom function on the init hook. I'll uncomment this code out, and what I have done is I have print the object for movie post type. Through this object, you can see the capabilities associated with it. When I go back and reload this page, you can see the capabilities that are attached to the movie post type. I'll explain these capabilities that are generated behind the scenes in the next video. For now, let's focus on the mapping. The edit posts maps to edit post. The read post maps to read post. Create posts map to edit posts. For example, if a user has edit post capability and you are checking if a user can create a post, this is where the key value mapping comes in. These key value pairs define which capabilities map to specific actions. The system checks if the capability is a property of the WP post type object. This function checks if the capability is a property of the WP post type object. For instance, you will see if the post type, then you have the cap, and then the $cap values, which determine access permissions like delete post. If you check, delete post maps directly to the delete post. Next, if a capability is assigned to the current user and their role, then they can delete the post. But they'll also check if the user is the post author, ensuring that the author can only access or edit their own posts, not someone else's post. Similarly, various conditions are checked here. Based on these checks, it returns an array of capabilities needed to verify if a user has access. This function does a lot, so reviewing its definition line by line can help you understand how meta capabilities are mapped to primitive capabilities. At the end, a filter is applied. You can use this filter to modify the mapped meta capabilities before they are returned. Now, where this function is used, it is used in the current user can, which checks the user capability. If you open the user can, it checks the user capabilities. It runs the map metacap method to determine if the user has the necessary capabilities using its user ID and other arguments like post ID. If the setup is a multi-site or the user is a super admin, additional checks are done. The map metacap function then returns all the mapped capabilities. You can also filter these capabilities to customize your results. Finally, it checks if the user has all the requested capabilities. If not, it returns a false, and if they do, it returns a true, granting the user access. I know this might feel overwhelming or a bit complex, so let me know if you'd like me to break it down further or explain with a real world example. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Jai WordPress.